Okay, so now we're going to have a look at what happens once you're in Farm Outcomes and we've clicked on the Services tab here. And that takes us to this screen. I'll just talk you through this screen and then you can see what's on here. Down this left hand side here, this is a list of all the services that this particular pharmacy is actually contracted to provide. So if you're not sure, you can scroll right down there and you will find lots and lots of different services. This is especially useful for locums if you're not sure if the pharmacy does a particular service. If it's on here, it means the pharmacy has a contract because they've been given access to that particular module. So that's quite reassuring for you. In the middle of the screen here, we've got recent provisions. So what you'll find down this list are the most recent provisions done by this pharmacy. Again, just remember I'm in a test pharmacy, so these services are not necessarily what you'll be looking at. But you can see here you've got the date, the title of the service, the patient's initials, and you can see whether that is active or whether you've cancelled that entry if you did it completely in error. So that's what that screen looks like. Okay, so once you've logged into Farm Outcomes and you go into the Services tab, you're going to start to want to choose a service. What you'll find is that you will get asked about your security word. You have had to choose when you set your log up a 6-letter security word, and anytime you're going to go into the system, into a part of the system where there's patient data, you will be asked for random letters from your security word. So you need to enter those letters there and then press submit, and then the system will, unless you put the wrong letters in of course, and then it doesn't work at all, but there you go. If you get the right letters, what happens is it lets you into the next part of the system. Okay, so I'm going to talk through how pharmacists enrol to deliver services. This is just an example. The modules are very similar but may vary slightly between services, but the principle is exactly the same. So the first thing you need to do is add your full name, and if you've registered before, you're there, but we'll pretend I haven't registered before and we'll select New Practitioner, and what you would do then is click on Enrol Me. And this brings you to a screen where you put your details in. So I'm going to type my full name here, my registration number, and then my surname in here. As you see, as I've typed it in up there, it's automatically pre-populated this. For this service, we need to have completed the declaration of competence for minor ailments PGD services, and what we need to do now is click on this confirm with CPPE. This gives Farm Outcomes permission to talk to CPPE. If you've already set it up in your CPPE registration in your profile, you can give CPPE permission to talk to Farm Outcomes, so that's how that has just worked. If you see here, if you hadn't already consented through CPPE to share the information with Farm Outcomes, you will automatically then get a window open up to log into CPPE, and in your My CPPE section in your profile you tick the Farm Outcomes box and save it, and that means it can complete the declaration of competence. What information comes back? You've got a tick to show you've met the requirement. It says the date that the doc was downloaded from the CPPE website and also the date that it was signed. And once you've done all of that, you would click enrol, and it would save you. I'm not going to click enrol because I don't want to enrol twice for this service, but that's the process that you would follow. And as I say, you need to do this for quite a few of the services and just read it through as you do the enrolment, so you make sure that you meet the specific requirements for the service. Okay then, so using Farm Outcomes, it might be interesting to understand what happens to the data once you've saved it. We do think of it as an invoicing system, so commissioners will automatically get an invoice for services that you've provided. But on top of that, for all of the services where you're supplying a prescription-only medicine, the system will give a message to the GP practice, so the GP practice knows that the patient has had an antibiotic from yourself. When you put the GP practice in, you might find that you get this yellow box showing up, which is telling you that the notification can't be sent, and that's because the surgery doesn't have a valid NHS mail address. So a couple of things here. I would say that if your GP practice, if this message comes up, if you get in touch with either your LPC or Andy Pickard or both, what Andy will do is have a word with the practice and see if they will update their NHS Mail account so that you don't have this message all the time. But even if this yellow box comes up, you would still continue, go through and enter all of the data, and when you get to the end of the module and you're ready, you've got all that information in there, you're ready to save the data. So now I'm going to press save, and what will happen is, because this practice doesn't have an NHS Mail address, you get this option here to print out the GP notification letter, and it then becomes your responsibility to deliver this paper message to the GP practice in a way that protects patient confidentiality. If the GP practice has got a valid NHS Mail address, then this screen won't have this little bit of information. It will tell you that an automatic message has gone, an encrypted message has gone to the practice so that they have the information about that supply.
And if you forget to send one, you'll get a notification in the top of the screen here saying that you've got notifications still to be sent. So if you need to send those, just click on that and it will come up with that print box again.
Excellent.